Okay, what did I get done today? First off, I printed up some parts, new parts. One is the engines for these. Well, I started them last night and finished this one this morning. These are the fixed engines. They had a problem here at the top. Something went wrong with the file, which he was able to correct easily. Christopher fixed that. It's his model. This is the larger scale Phantom 2 that I'm doing, and had a problem with the nose. You might remember the faulty one that I had problem, and so successful there. So I got to do the back side of the ship, of course, and I got to make an interior for it. The Flight Navigator Trimaxian ships, I got a couple coats of this primer here. This stuff here is seriously good primer. I let it dry for a few days, and when you wet sand it, it's smooth as glass, and then I'll chrome them. Well, here's the chrome paint job. It's not perfect. It's got a few little divots here and there. You can see them. You know, just these things that you think you took care of, and then you really notice it when you put the chrome on, unfortunately. But it'll do for me. You know, this is going to be the base. It's actually off of the movie Contact. It was part of the Sphere, and I thought it'd make a nice base. So I'll paint it with the chrome too, but it won't be as bright as this will be. So, but I think it'll make a neat looking base, and it's got two spots so I can put both models on it, and one side's going to have a plaque here with the name, like the movie poster will be on it. I'd like to put the hieroglyphs right here, which is never too late, but I think that's not going to happen unless I do it by hand, and I don't know how good my hand is at doing something like that. I'm going to spray this again. It needs a little more chrome on it because I didn't put enough on, which is good. You don't have to do anything. You just put it on again. But when you see it go on, you're going to say, oh my God, it looks terrible. See how gray and dull that looks? You're probably thinking, oh shit, what did you do? You sprayed it and now it's all dull. Wait for it. We'll come back and I'll show you when it dries what it looks like. Well, I had to redo the lightship version on the Navigator ship because I didn't put enough on there. It was a little dark in some spots. So usually with a spray gun or chrome you can just put more chrome on it. I've done it hundreds of times to make it a little brighter. That's all you have to do when it comes out. But for some reason it didn't work out that way. So I had to wet sand down the chrome a little bit, then respray it. That's one good thing. You don't have to go back to primer. Matter of fact, the gloss black here goes on much better. Just wet sanding with a little 800 grit, you know. And I mean, it's really not that shiny. It's still drying. So to sort of speed things up, I'll you know, heat gun it a little bit. Yeah. But I probably only need to put a couple coats. This would look much better than it did originally, because it had little stuff in the paint and everything I didn't care for. So yeah, this is the first coat of it. You can probably see it starting to dull out a little bit now as we speak. But like I said, a couple coats you can put on. This is the gun I use. That type, just a small touch-up automotive gun. And just get careful with the heat gun. You know, you want to keep it moving, obviously. Like you didn't know that already, right? But you can see it's dulling a little bit. But this is the best acrylic gloss paint I've ever used. Well, yeah, you've seen the walnut version of the ship, so you know how shiny this stuff can get, this particular gloss. Yeah, it's one of those things where the gloss black has to be really shiny for the chrome to be shiny. I mean, there's no getting around that with any of these chrome paints. But yep, make sure no dust is on it, because there's always some kind of damn dust that gets on it. And I'll even wet sand that a little bit too. And do the bottom. It's still, sorry, bottom has to be done too. But yeah, this is just thought I'd show you step one after primer. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of primer, gray primer, black primer. You know, I personally like this primer here the best. It's Ace Hardware. Goes on really nice. You know, just the gray primer that they have as the undercoat. And don't wet sand it too much, because if you wet sand it too smooth before you put the black on, well, it's water based. You know what happens when you put water based on a really super slick surface? It doesn't go on so good. So that's why I decided, when this didn't come out, I wasn't ticked off, like, oh, okay, now I can get it looking better, to wet sand a little bit with 800 grit, you know. But I think with the primer, I'm going to do a test. I'm going to try priming it, just priming a piece, or a part that I need, that needs to be chrome, and not wet sanding it or anything, because I think it needs a little bit of that roughness for it to bite. And I think the clear coat will go on a little better, you know, as long as there's no lumps in the primer or anything like that, or sanding out a little anomalies. So yeah. Well, I had to repaint this because I wasn't happy with it. First off, it had a dark streak across the top because I didn't put enough chrome on it. So usually all you do is take the chrome and put more on and you get your results. But what happened is it fogged it. And I think the reason why it fogged it was because when I cleaned out the airbrush, it might have just been a drop of acetone still inside the airbrush. And it corrupted the resin. I'm sorry, the chrome. So I had to wet sand it down, which is quite easy actually. And then one of the plus sides about the chrome, it is lacquer, is you can just put if you wet sand the whole thing down a bit, not a super lot either, just enough to get through the chrome, and you can spray the black over it. The black goes over it much nicer. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing, repainting the black and the chrome in it. Actually, it looks much better. It looks better than it used to. You know, sometimes when you have a little mistake like this, you get better results. Well, I guess that's the whole learning curve, right?